Hi everyone. This is part 8 of our hardcover journal book, and I just wanted to go over a few more things before I continued on with actual part 8. And then that is that I realized in part 7 that there's so much more to show you when I was taking apart my pages and cutting them up and deciding how to cut them up, that I thought I'd do a really quick follow-up. So page or part 8 may turn into part 9 depending on how long this takes. If you remember, I had cut out these two little spot pieces and I was going to put some cheesecloth behind it to put in the book. So I just thought I'd show you that again. I fussy cut out these flowers out of the book, out of a page. And I thought that some of these might decorate a tag. And then this might be a nice piece to use as a kind of a banner piece on the top of a page. So that's something I want to just mention so that you'll see it in the book and you'll know what my thinking was on it. And then I will use these other little pieces to either be elements on the page or maybe a small tag. You remember I cut out that word Victorian embroidery. I'm not sure if I'll keep it, but I just wanted to remind myself I had it. I made those two pockets with that one page where the needle point was on, and I just cut out a piece for the pockets. This is a folded envelope, and I'll show you in a minute how I did this, but just folded. It will get decorated before I put it in the book, so I will show you that a little later on in the series. Same with this one here. It was a page that I knew wasn't going to cut it as far as being a page in my book, so I thought, why not turn it into an envelope? These will get glued down on the sides and then things will get tucked inside of them. But I'm going to finish this off a little nicer on the inside. This was an offcut. But I thought, you know what? It might make a good tag. So I'm just showing it to you now to remind myself. It also matched that belly band that I put in the book. So I thought this might be something that I could tuck in with the belly band. It just has to be finished on the back and then cut into a tag shape. This was another offcut that I just turned into an envelope without a flap top. I just folded it, cut out those pieces, and then it will get glued up at the back. It may be glued right into the book or be a floating pocket. At this point I haven't decided, but it's just an open pocket with a little cutout in it. This was a cut-off strip. This piece is going to be used as sort of a washi or element on the page, but I just thought I would show it to you. It looks like the top of a curtain, which was what this came from, this piece here, but it was something on the other side that I kept and cut out. Some more elements that I cut out of the book. So you can see there's quite a bit of product here to work with. Another little piece that I cut out. Again, this is just another little strip, but we'll be working with all these offcuts, so don't throw them away. Don't throw the littlest bits away. This is another flip. I liked the page on this side, and then I really wanted to keep that picture, so the best way to do it was to turn it into a flip so I could have the benefit of both. And the little piece left over is another one of those things that I can use as a journaling spot. Undecided as to whether or not I want to flip this over or just use it as a picture in the book, but we'll decide as I go along. Same with this one. It's just a nice decorative tapestry piece. This was just a little picture in the book. I cut it out. And this was along the edge of the page, and I thought we'll make another nice belly band in my book. And so this will probably go nearby it, as well as the full-size image that this came from. This was on the opposite side, so I started to fussy cut it out. I will cut out more of the white in here, but I thought this can be used on a tag or on a journaling card or as a spot element. Another one that could be a flip out, nothing on the back side, so it can either be a flip out or a journaling card. I will decide as I go along. Another piece that I just folded into an envelope shape. I think I was going to do something else with this, but I've decided that I wanted to make it into an envelope. So I just folded in there's that cat. Folded into three, cut out a little heart opening, but I think I'm going to make it more of a scalloped edge. I don't really like that look. So I think I'm going to scallop it more instead. And then the flap to come down. This will get decorated a little bit further. This was a spot, a little picture in the book, and again, it was just one of those things that looks nice. I think I would glue this to the side of a page and make it a little tuck spot. So we'll see that in the book. This one I cut out, it's just a picture, but again, it had a blank thing on this side. So I said, well, cut it out and decide what to do with it after, whether you want to make it into a little fold or a booklet. The only thing is that the picture's on the opposite side of the book, so I'd have to decorate somewhere on here and then put a notebook inside. Another one of those pieces that I just have to cut a little thing out to make it into a pocket. Another little spot decoration. I better put that with the cheesecloth. Another picture, undecided. I thought maybe I could cut out the corners of this and then turn it into a gusset, a pocket on a page. But it's also a nice piece for a journaling card, so that's a possibility. You saw this one that I've turned into a flip, so that will be a flip in the journal. I'm just quickly showing you these because there were so many pieces. Another one that I turned into a pocket. It's again without a top, only because I'm going to either probably glue it down and then have something coming out of it. This was on the same page as that pocket. It was just a pillow in the middle of the page, so I just folded it over. I'll probably put a little booklet inside and turn this into a little notebook. Lots of possibility. It could just be like a little flip over the page. But again, just want to show you this to remind you of it. Some pieces that I cut out of the pages and another little spot element. So you can see there's a lot of product. You saw me do this in the last one. And this was just a possibility of turning this into a little tag. Another little tag that flips open. You saw that in the last page, or video page. One of my full washi pieces. That journaling card with the roses that you saw. I just have to decorate the back on that. And a couple more full washies. 2 more journaling cards. These are all the things that you saw me cut out. Fussy cut that. Fussy cut the pansy. Those could go on tag or as spot elements. Another piece of faux washi tape. You saw me do this tapestry little book, so that will get some paper put inside of it. And you saw me do the envelope with the flap. You saw me do this one where I'm just going to glue the side of it and down the bottom, and it will be a pocket that either can be floating because it's got the blank page, or it can be glued down. This page was one that didn't make it as far as the pages going into the book, but I really do love it. So I may just fold over one edge and make it into a flip picture. The back has some personal inscriptions in there. I would cover that, of course, and decorate this up. But again, just something I wanted to show you while I was doing all this stuff. And then there are a few more pieces that came that were unusual that I thought I would quickly show you. This one here is a fussy cut piece that is on the back side of this. I do like this, but I think I could get more mileage out of the fussy cut. I could fussy cut this and leave as a long decorative element on the page, or I could cut it into individual little pieces and make it into a tag or decorate a tag with it. So undecided, but just giving you some options and hoping that you'll keep that information in your own books. This was just a leftover piece, but I thought this had some possibilities of being a base for a tag and then decorating over top of it. So I'm keeping that for that reason. This was an offcut from cutting on the other side, but it's, it's got really earthy colors. It matches the book. I just thought I could either use it to make a pocket or a journaling card base or a tag base, or cut it into strips for elements and washi tape. This one too, I cut, it was that little pansy I cut out of this spot here. But I just loved the colors here, like this yellows and oranges and the purple. And I thought, if you cut this into strips for washi, or cut it up for making clusters or tabs. So I'm keeping it for that reason, and I will show you a little bit on doing clusters and tabs in the next videos. This was a full-size picture, and I've just folded and overlapped the sides, and I'm going to make this into a long envelope because by the time I fold this under, that should be okay like that. And I will use this top part here to be the flap. So I will cut this white off, then fold the flap down and turn it into the flap. So I will end up with an envelope, one of those policy envelopes that's about that size, if that makes sense. It's about 7 inches, 8 inches tall. This one here is an interesting piece in itself. It was on the back of nothing in particular, but I thought, you know, I could cut this out and just maybe fussy cut a little bit around the edges there and turn this into a tuck spot onto the side of a page. So I'm just showing you this as a reminder so you see how it was before I cut it up. And of course, this will be another little spot element or for a cluster or something. So those two I have to cut out. And this one here, again, it's a pretty page that didn't make the cut as far as putting my journal back together or putting my pages in. But I do love the colors and I love the look of it. So this one I'm turning into an envelope. I thought about fussy cutting that piece out on that side, but it's a little bit off for me. It's not quite what I want. So I'm just going to fold it up into an envelope shape. Sort of like that, and then a flap that will come down. These will get, now this has got a bit of a rough edge, I will trim that off, and these are just pieces that will get decorated. You know, I'll put some stamps, some labels, funk it up a little bit so that it looks more like an envelope, and then it'll be glued on both sides with a scalloped opening, and then ready to put in the journal. So it'll go into one of the belly band tucks because it's a large envelope. So it can also be a belly band in itself because I could glue it down, although then I would lose my nice picture. So not sure on that one. But I could glue it down and make that a belly band in itself with a flip opening. And then this was the other end page that had come out of the book. So I had 2 of them. Yay. So again, this will get chopped up for maybe this time, maybe I'll do a flip card and a folded journaling card and have a little bit of extra faux washi at the end. So I just wanted to show you those. These are all the elements that are now going to go in my book, which I will work on. The next thing I wanted to show you really quickly, because when you see the book, it's going to be done, is how I cover these words. Let's just pick a page here. For example, this one. I don't mind this element on here. I like the blank paper that's in here, but I want to be able to cover some of this so that it's not so wordy. So I would take a combination of papers. I wouldn't use just 1 or 2. I don't want to try to glue something across the entire page because it kind of, then it just looks like I've glued to cover it up. I don't know. I want something a little bit more interesting. So I would take 2 or 3 pages, and I'm just going to do that now. So I've got some of this lined paper and some ledger, and I'm just going to cut off a piece like this and trim off the holes. Actually, I'll just trim off that whole number section because I'll use that in a cluster, and trim this down a little bit. So I would glue this here on the page, and then I have a little bit left over. So I'm gonna cut this paper and I want to make something for there. So I'm going to maybe about like that, I think. So this is going to go here. This one will go down here, maybe trim it down or come down just a little bit and up just a little bit. And then I may use a long piece to go in here. So you see I'm still keeping that flower or that little image there. And then this paper here, let's go this way. Okay, so going back to this, I would cover it like that with different papers, and some of them can be decorative, some of them can be faux washi, some of them are going to be journal papers, just like I have here. And then cut off a little element of this little page element to just cover that one spot. So I hope that makes sense. So when you see my book all put together, this will all be done in the book, but it just gives some interest. It allows you to do some spot writing on different things in different places on your book. A little element on here, more blank pages, more here. I can add some faux washi, cover that up with some faux washi. And so it just creates a collage, interesting page, and we've covered up all the writing, and we're using all of our book page pieces. All of these little scraps do get used, and you will see them in my little notebooks. You'll see them in my little page folds. You'll see them where I want to cover the back side of a tag. So I might use a little piece of this to cover the back side of the tag and cut it into tag shape. So these are things I'm telling you about now, so that when you see them in my book, you'll know exactly what I did or how I did it. And I will explain things when we do the flip out of all the different things that I did using all of the elements. It doesn't mean that's all we're using, and it doesn't mean that I've used everything up, because I do have lots of bits and pieces here that are left over, and I don't throw anything away, because even though, for example, this may not be a picture that I want to use, but it might be a great piece to cut to make a label. It might be a great piece to cut up and make faux washi or page elements or clusters. So it could be folded up to make a envelope and then decorated, and you would never notice all of these things on there. So don't throw anything away until you're completely finished, and even then bring it forward into another book, because some books you don't have enough of this stuff. So it will eventually all get used up. I'm pretty sure by the time I'm done I won't have anything left, but I just wanted to quickly show you all this, and I'm going to pause the video. This is still going to be part of part 8, and I will quickly flip through the book when I'm finished putting all this together. Okay, I'll see you in a few minutes. Hello, everyone. I'm back again. A day later and a change of clothes. Okay, this putting the ephemera in and working on my book is taking a little bit longer than I expected. So I am going to do the flip through today, but it isn't completely finished. But I can't hold you up. I have to be able to let you guys continue working on your books and getting to the point where we can start doing part 9, which is putting the cover on our book if we want to have a cover, and so on. So the rest of the ephemera, I will show you what I've done, and I haven't finished everything. So you'll have to do some of it on your own. You know, some of you are seasoned journal makers, so you know different types of pockets and tabs and things to make. For those of you that are brand new to this, there are lots of different videos out there, but I will show you more as we go along, but I don't want to keep showing you ephemera when it's going to hold us up. So you'll see what I've used in the book, and as I use the other things, I will certainly show you those things that I used. And then, so we'll do a flip through of what I've got done, just to give you an idea of how I'm doing this. And I started out at the beginning. I showed you all the things that I did cut out. And so now I will show you them in the book. So hopefully it's still fresh on your mind and you can remember. So before I start that, I still have, these are all pieces that I have kept. And you might think that, oh, that's kind of like garbage, but you can ink stamp on these, and we're going to make some tabs later on in the series. We're going to make some tabs and some clusters and other page elements using this kind of stuff. So don't discard it. And I kept these things because of the colors, that they match the book. And some of them are bigger pieces. They're not all small. So these will be great for making labels and that type of thing. And those are embellishments that you would add at the end of your project, your journal. And I still have a lot of full-size pages. I may use some, as I was saying, to cut up to be washi tape of sorts. I may still fold some up into envelopes. I had a lot of nice pages to use for envelopes, so I was fortunate there. But if you don't have nice pages, you can still use the ugly ones or the plain text ones. And this is a pretty image in itself too. And they can be decorated by creating your envelope and then gluing napkins over top, or tissue paper over top, or ink stamping and collaging other images, or fussy cuts and stuff on top. And those are things that, again, if you're seasoned, you know how to do them. If you're new to this and you're just learning, you've probably got enough little things to go in your book to get you started, but it's not to say you can't add more as you go along. So keep all of your big pages. I will show you other things in the next few segments, as well as in the another part of this, if you continue to, or decide to continue into the next part of this series. So then I still have quite a bit of ephemera that I haven't put in the book, and I haven't quite finished yet. I couldn't use it all at this point because I want to wait and see once I have the cover on, and once I start doing snippets and clusters and stuff, that I can see how I might incorporate some of this. And so some things I've just got a little note to make a pocket, or to put something in the pocket, and I will decide as I go along. So I didn't want to hold you up while I tried to wait and figure things out, because I wanted to wait and see what my cover is going to look like and how much fabric I'll have left over from my cover to use with some of this stuff. So then it's the book. Now, as I talked about covering some of the pages, so here's the first page. It's not changed at all at this point. This is a page that I'm going to wait and embellish and decorate a little bit later. So here is one where I have covered the page. The only thing that was original is this picture here. I used some graph paper. I used some other plain papers. I made a little bit of a faux washi up there, and then another one at the bottom here. This book is going to have to go back and forth. There's the washi. And then I have washi tape at the bottom here. And then this was just a little piece that I had left over that I made into a pocket. So I do need something in here, which is why this blue tab is sitting in here. On this side, it's the scrapbook paper page. And if you remember, I cut this, fussy cut this piece out. I've glued it on two sides, and then I just finished it with a little bit of washi tape, only because I had a little bit of glue seep out and I didn't like the look, so I covered it up with washi tape. But it's only glued on two sides, so this is open, completely open here. And then it's open from the top. I used it here because the colors match so nicely. It was just total fluke. And I have to put something in it. I just stuck a piece of paper in here for now. These pages are by no means finished. This book is far, far, far from being finished, because I will embellish the pages. I will ink stamp on these pages. But it's stuff that, again, is over and above what I'm trying to teach you in this first journal. But it's not to say that, as we go along, you won't go back and add things to this. Because if this is your first journal, you're not going to be in a hurry to part with it or sell it. You're just going to keep enhancing it and adding new things to it. And you may keep it as a sample for making other journals, so that you have ideas of what you did with a page and how you incorporated some of the book pages back into your book. So I hope you won't be disappointed that you're not going to have a completely finished book after this series, because you may want to enhance things and do things differently yourself. And if you are someone who's made a lot of journals, you know you've got a lot of your own ideas. Some of these pages are going to have tabs on them, and we're going to make tabs. We're going to make tabs and clusters and snippets to put in the book yet, and that's where you'll start to see more of the embellishing and the fancy decorations. But right now, this is still in preparation of getting the book ready, and still in preparation of making your basic ephemera from the book pages. So I'm going to turn the page here. Now, the only thing I have on this side is that one little pocket, and then I put one of those journaling cards in here that I made. Not that it will stay for sure, but if you look on this page, I did add some of the same image of washi tape up there and another little spot there. And this was the page I showed you how I was going to decorate it. I kept the original little element that was on the page and then just added the different papers to cover everything up. It still gives me lots of writing space throughout. And the fact that it's got different little squares allows me to do different things in there. It doesn't mean that I'm going to write something in every single section. I may still add a piece of fabric or a belly band over all of this. It's just a starting point to get, some more ideas and to get the inspiration going. So then when you turn it over, I just want to make sure I'm in camera here. Okay, so this is a page again that had a little element on it that was there, and this one I added on afterwards. Yeah. Oh, I glued that really well. I added this one on afterwards because it matched the color combinations. This flips open. This was one of those flips I made. And the flip part is buried or glued underneath here. So it's not on that side of the page. It's glued underneath here, the hinge, and then I put another paper over top of it. So it's kind of like a hidden writing space. I can also write on this part of the page here that was the back side of the book image. And then I gave another section again that was a separate area, so I can do something separate from here and these other pieces. But what I liked about this was this page had tassels on it, and this book page that I added into here page that I added into here had the tassel on it as well. So I thought that was kind of fitting. And, the three ladies are working here, and they seem to really match the colors that are on this side. And this is the book jacket, the shiny book jacket, and I'm sure it's very shiny in the picture. And when you flip that over, I glued down the two sides of the jacket to make a pocket here, and I just stuffed this paper in here. It's not what's going to stay. But I'm imagining, because this is so shiny here, I'm probably going to cover it with a piece of fabric hanging down. But I liked the information about the artist, and I liked what it was talking about here about the book itself and Victorian embroidery. So I wanted to leave that in there. And then it was fitting that this was the piece that had the bee on it that I fold into sort of a pamphlet style. And I left this in here with all the copyright information, but I'm going to use this because this book is about embroidery. I think what I'm going to do on these three things is make an overlay with 3 pieces of embroidery, but that I will do once the book is pretty much done, and then that will be part of the embellishing that I will add in afterwards. So it'll be a combination of embroidery and some of the other fabrics that I use throughout the book. So that's going to be kind of like little snippets on this page, and I think that's what I'll do on here. And then if you've followed my printables, my free printables, there was one I did with where I made a collage sheet that you can actually put printables on, like little snippets of fabric on, or not printables on, little snippets of fabric onto it. So when I'm closer to being done, I will have one, and I think that's what I'm going to put in here, is just sort of be like a sampler page. That's my thoughts right now. We'll see. It could change. A very decorative page. It's not to say that I couldn't add something on here later. But you know, if I wanted to add a pocket, I didn't want to take away from this flower that's on the page, or this little purse that's on the page. So it may have to be something up here. Maybe a lace doily that I can use as a place to tuck. But again, it's still in the thought process. And also I may want to do a tab here, or some fabric decorating, you know, with like a fabric strip or something. Again, that'll be more into the embellishing when we get to that point. Love the colors though. And the fabric that I'm using I used for my signature, to stitch my signature to in the center here. I don't know if you can see it very well. This is a piece of it here. This is what I plan to use for my book cover, but I'll get back into that afterwards. But it's just fun how it matches in this page as well. And so I think I've got some extra of this fabric, so I think I may incorporate some of that into the pages as well. And you'll see that further on. I'll show you another example of that. So this next page now, the page was called Samplers. I have to keep moving it up and down so you can see. The page was called Samplers. There was that word, Victorian embroidery, I just covered up with a faux washi. I have a pocket here that I can put something into that is kind of a sampler, so I can put something into it. I left the writing in there because I don't want to cover all of the writing, just some of it. And then this I made into like a little tuck spot. It's glued right, like I had glued, I had folded over part of this page because it was a little too long or too wide. And so I folded it over, and before I glued it down, I glued this paper in there so that it's stuck, and now it can be a place to hold a photo or a journaling card or something. And this will be a journaling card. I just haven't put the paper on the back yet. And there will be something going in this pocket. I just don't have anything yet. And the color combination again matched this paper that I used for the opposite side of my page. So I really like that. When you flip it over, I just have the one pocket here. I used this pocket because it matched the florals, you know, loosely in here, and there is a rose here. So I just thought the colors were nice. Lots of possibility for decorating yet in here, and I still have to make something to go inside there. This page will be left as it is. It's very pretty. It's not functional, but it does look nice. On the back side of that, this was called Fringes and Tassels. There was some fringe in a little element that was on the page. I covered everything up. This got folded over because it was sticking outside of the book. So I just used, this paper had blue lines on it, and there seemed to be a little bit of blue, so I just tied it in with the fringing things that were on here, and I left where it said fringes and tassels because I may add a tassel or something in here. Or when we start doing embellishments and tabs, I may have a tab on here that has a tassel hanging down, but that is something that we will do as we go along. So this was that library card that was stuck in the middle of the page. It still leaves me lots of opportunity for decorating on here yet. Not sure what, but you know, it is a start. These books take a while to do, which I'm sure you're starting to realize that. And it's far, far, far from being finished. As far as when I'm done, you will see a big difference in this book. So this is just the tag. It was blank on the other side. It was from the end page, and I still have a whole sheet of that end page. So I'm going to try and incorporate a little bit of it throughout the whole book, because it also matches very nicely with that fabric that I've chosen. It's a nice combination together. I'm just kind of watching my time here. I flipped this over, and if you remember, I had put in a belly band, or I had talked about putting in a belly band. This is just some loose elements. Still haven't decided what I'm going to do with those. But I did staple this in, knowing that the staples are showing, so knowing that I'm going to cover it with something decorative. And this is just clipped on here for now because I will incorporate it into something that will become a page element on this page once I start making those with you. And this piece of paper, I had talked about this at the beginning. It's just sitting in here, going to be a tag of sorts. I just haven't done anything with it yet. So I've just tucked it in here, knowing that it's going to be on this page because I think it was originally part of that page, but on two different sides, like the page broke. So I kept it to use with this page, knowing that I'm going to have a lot more stuff in here, but this kind of seems to look like my purple pansy page. When you flip it over, I just have that one little pocket I made. I've glued it up and made a little divot in here for it, and I will add something into it. This is another page where I've left the words. I will work around that. This was a page that I inserted, and I had used, when I had inserted and glued the two pages together, because it was two separate pages, I used the washi tape just to finish it. So it takes on that kind of browny, greeny color. And so I blended this page with a combination of pages to cover up the text and still keep the element that was on the page so that it all blends together. But again, you can see that going from one page to the next, I went from purples, now I'm into rusty colors and earthy colors. So these are things that you can do in your books as well, just to keep interest and to change it up a little bit, make it look different. Not every page has to be a matchy match, and add some interest into your page and work in colors that you don't normally work in. So this next one had a lot of text on it. I covered it with this graph paper. This was an element that was on the page, and so was this. This I added on. Sometimes when you're gluing your pages down, you get a lot of squares all going into one corner, like you get a lot of corners all together. So I used this as a means to cover the different corners so that you wouldn't see this pasted, chunky look. Does that make sense? The offset there is this blue paper. If you can remember, this page, I used coffee stained paper to lengthen the page, but it was very brittle, and it had a little, I poked a little hole through it on the other side of it. So I used the music sheet to patch the hole. It's one of those things that you keep sticking your finger in all the different holes. So I patched it, and then it just looked so obvious that it was so random that I decided to add more music sheet up here on the rest of the page to just give it a little bit more sort of where you've got sections. So it just lets your eye flow down the page. So it allows you to use this section method to create different parts in your journal. This was another one of those folded page pocket envelopes. It doesn't have a top. I just cut the two tabs out. I originally only cut out one, but it had the text writing, and I found that it was bothering me with the rest of the page. So I ended up going back and cutting out both of them. The reason I was using this is the blues tied in with the blue page here. And because these orange things were so opposite of the blue, it was really nice that this had orange in it, just to bring the two pages together. So I will continue to work on that by putting some blue into here, whatever I'm doing. And again, just bringing a little bit more orange back and forth so it flows better together. I may add some music sheet in here as well to tie the music in on this side, just to make it flow a little bit together. So when you turn it over, because the page is still blue, I added more music sheet there. I had a blue tag to bring out the blue. And then I had this yellow roses journal card that you had seen that I made. I still haven't backed it yet, but it's in here knowing that I have to do it. So there's the rest of the music page to patch up this page. Can you even see that music sheet up there? Yeah. And so there again, it's a matter of how am I going to get this page to flow in from here. So I patched up different sections with small pieces of paper to cover up the text. Use some of the music sheet. There's a little bit of blue in this pansy as well as the yellow from the roses, and I will continue to play on those two colors mostly and see what happens from there. Now this page, I had a flip that I flipped over onto this side, which I don't normally do. I normally have it buried under the page it's going to be on, but I used it as a finishing to hold all of this together and to firm up this page. And when you flip it over, it's that lovely lady. And when you open her up, it says Victorian embroidery. And then I just covered up the text there. This had personal inscription in the book. Somebody had written in there. And so this was an element that was on the page, as well as this little heart and blue here. So I just played on those colors again, trying to match it all in together. And they will find a way to blend in with this one. But I haven't started working on the text on here, and I haven't decided what I want to do. But I was thinking that this might be a possibility as an element, not as a belly band. I'm going to fussy cut this out, so actually I'll just leave it in here. I may use part of it there and then part of it here. If you can see, I could put some of it there and some here. So I'm just going to leave it in here as a reminder. Now this piece here, when you close the book, it matches very nicely with this. So there is good flow there. But I will be playing on the blue, but I will introduce more of this color. So I may have to go back and use some of that end page in here just to bring a little bit more of it in so that it blends, but that at the same time I will have to use some of it in here so it blends in here as well. That's just my thought process. Now this is, and I didn't glue it. This was one of those pieces I cut out of the book, an image, and it had a white margin on the two sides. So I just folded the margin in, the whole width of each margin, and then I cut out this little corner here by just making a snip on either side. And so this will now wrap around it can wrap around the book onto the other side, or it can be glued down to give you a gusseted pocket or tuck spot. So either way, if I wrap it around the page and glue this down, I still have a tuck spot here. And I'm just kind of reinforcing this page at this point. I haven't done anything with it, so I can reinforce it and then cover the ends. Once it's glued down, I can cover it on this side. So I'm undecided as how I'm going to do it yet, but it's just tucked in here for now. So if I didn't want, like if I wanted a pocket here and I don't have an image like this, something you can do, I'm just looking for a blank page here. Oh, here I made one already. Is I just folded a piece of book page into a triangle so that there's two pieces. This might be a little bit big, but I'm going to cut it down for you to see. Is I can add this onto the page. Yeah, this is just a little bit big, so I'd have to cut it down a little bit more. Let's just say I cut it down to here. I can glue this down on the two sides. It's double the thickness. So I have a pocket here, but then I can also open this up. Once it's glued down, I can open it up and create a writing space or a secret space here that can be closed down. Once it's closed, we can embellish with different things like a snippet or a cluster of sorts, or even another pocket, just to give it added weight so that keeps the flap closed. You can then put a little tab on the corner. Am I in frame? I hope I am. You can put a little tab in the corner to indicate that it's a place to open. If you have it on the outside, it also looks like it's part of the outside of the page, but then you can have this open up to create a little pocket. So there's another one that you can make with your book pages, and hopefully I can show you a few more as we go along. But you can take your plain book pages and make envelopes and pockets exactly the same way as I did with the colored images. But I think I'm going to use this in this corner, again, because it blends so nicely with the picture of my lovely lady here. So now when you turn this over, I haven't done anything on this page. It just has the one element on the page so far. This is where I'm kind of have left off. And so there's some things to cover up there, either with paper or pictures or something to further enhance the page. This was a... one of my pages in the book from grocery bag, and so I just had an extra bit and folded it over to make a tuck spot. And if you remember my little policy envelope, I've now made it into a policy envelope, and so it's ready to go and have something in it, and then tuck it in here. And I actually, because it's very random as far as, you know, the children itself, I actually thought of putting this away because they're all wearing kind of winter coats. I thought maybe I could put it away for Christmas. But then at the last second, I looked at this envelope. And if you look at her scarf that she's wearing, that's the exact material and even the exact pattern. I hope you can see that in there. That's in the scarf. And I thought, oh, well, that's definitely got to stay in this book then. And so I will incorporate, and that's why I have this sitting in here, I will incorporate some of that fabric onto this page to further enhance this. And then the colors blended so nicely with this that, again, it's something that I can certainly see using the fabrics and everything in the book together. I haven't put my new light up yet, and I hope that when I do, I will reduce the glare and the shadows that we're seeing in this video now. Sorry about that. So that's my process on that one. And then when you turn the page, I do have a flip in here. And this flips open. All I've done is I've reinforced it by adding a little piece of paper over top of the hinge itself. And this just gives me some more writing space, and flips closed. Kind of playing on the browns here, but I do have blues, so I will incorporate that some way, somehow. Center of the book, I just clipped all my ends together until I embellish them. Lots of possibilities here. Not sure what at this point, but all I did was glue down some pages for journaling spots. And this is one of those little corners that I was talking about, where you've got several papers meeting, that I would do something like, whether it be a strip of washi tape across here or something to eliminate that little spot. I do like the staggered look of the papers, but I just don't like where they all meet in the corner here. So that I will cover up somehow. You turn the page over, it's just a decorative page again, but lots of possibilities to add a pocket, because there's so much blank here. I could just add a pocket or something, or, you know, fabric flip up from the top of the book. So you can see there's still lots to be done. Here's one of those envelopes. I haven't done anything on the inside of any of the envelopes yet, so you will have to see that further down the road when I do get it done. Scrapbook page, haven't closed it off yet to make the actual tuck, but I just put this in here knowing that this is going to be the envelope in here. Again, it's a matter of blending these colors together, so we're focusing here on the creams and the greens with a hint of pink. So that will be what I work with when I start putting this all together. Turn the page, there's the whole scrapbook page. This is attached to a ledger. I stuck this in here because it also incorporates both sides of the page, so it just worked really nicely. And this is something you will decide for yourself if you want to do. I mean, you can find a way to blend all of your pieces together to make them cohesive together. So it's just a matter of playing. The ledger, again, was folded because it was larger, and so that creates a little flip here. I haven't decided what to do with it yet, and I will wait until we're further down the road. Blue and the red came together really nicely with this, and there's a sampler there, so I see some things, you know, maybe again a little fabric flip coming down, lots of journaling space. I can play with the numbers that are on the page here, just some different ideas, like list making is great for that. Lots of fun. I have no idea at this point what it's going to look like, but now I see lots of roses in here, so maybe we have to incorporate some flowers on this page as well. Turn it over, and this is kind of where I've left off. I haven't done any more in here. Just adding in things like envelopes. These are 2 pieces of paper I put in here to cover, because this was how I finished, or how I attached this page in my book. So this was automatically part of the other page. And so that left this little spot here. I did want to keep this element down in the corner. So because I have that sunflower paper on that side, I decided I needed just a little bit of yellow to bring it together. And then this is just a neutral piece that's kind of a damask print. But it works very nicely together. Again, it's the yellow bringing in that yellow, which brings out the yellow in this to be envelope. The envelope also has a little bit of pink in it, which is in here, and certainly the greens. I hope I'm not boring you. And so when you turn the page, I haven't gotten very far. This is still going to be a flip. I've decided it's going to be here. And this page was a fold-out page, but every time I opened the book, it annoyed me, so I tore it off. So I've just got the little piece now separating. So I will try to somehow incorporate all of these together. Not sure what I'm doing with this yet, but we'll see. Just a decorative page, lots of possibilities to add on the bottom, which turns us over to this page. And I said I wanted to somehow keep that and maybe use it as a method of framing something on the page. So I will clean it up on either side of it. And then I had a little piece, this was on the other side of the page, somewhere over here, I think. So I will make a tag to match it that will go in here. That's why it's sitting in this little spot here. And that's why this pocket is sitting here, knowing that it's going to be on this page somewhere and hosting that tag when it's made. Graph paper on the other side, and really I have not done anything except place things. This is going to be the belly band on this page, and this is going to be the flip out on this page, which you saw in the beginning of this video. So I haven't done anything with it, but this is where I'm planning to put it. On the other side of the book jacket, nothing done yet, but it will continue to have the fabric samplers in there, I think. And then the rest I'm just working on. Now here's another one of those pieces where I left the margins around the picture. I didn't have enough space to turn it into a pocket or into a little policy envelope. So I knew that I was going to lose the image if I didn't have enough. So I figured I will fold in the 3 sides, cut out the corners, and use it to make a gusset pocket on this page. I will probably decorate the top where there's text there and do something on that side. So that takes me pretty much to the end of the book. Now, if you feel you need more than what I've given you as far as design ideas to decorate to do some basic decorations on your page and make some basic ephemera, then please let me know, and I can maybe fit in another just working on ephemera for the book in another video. If not, I will just continue to give you more information and more things as we go along, little tidbits of things for you to try. Your book should have lots of room for you to be able to add all those things in. And if it's already full just with the ephemera that you have, then you could probably get started on another book and then incorporate some of those things in the book. So mine is getting pretty full already. I don't know how much more I want to add in here. It's tight, but I think I can still put all the stuff in that is in my mind that I want to put in. So I do have to be careful with how much I'm adding in at this point. My plan is to decorate with fabric by putting a fabric cover on my book. And like I said, I've already chose my fabric. And it's very complimentary to this end page that I tore out of the book. And it's also complimentary that when you open the book, it'll be on the inside as well. So you need to choose, if you're going to decorate your book with fabric, which is my plan, and that will be my next class next Monday, is to do the cover for your journal and trim it with embellishments and stuff. So you need to choose a fabric if you want to go that far, or if you don't, then you can of course leave your book the way it is and decorate differently. But my plan is to put this, I'm going to just wrap it around first. I will show you how I do that process, and this will get wrapped around the book. So when you see this fabric, like I said, it matches so many of the elements in this book that I have left over another piece yet that I will be able to incorporate this fabric in the book to, again, tie everything together. So that'll be the plan for this. I'm not going to make a closure for this book that is part of the journal itself. And that is because my plan is to make, and I'm just going to do it with this just for the sake of doing it, but my plan is to make, after we've finished parts 9, 10, 11, and 12, this book will be finished. Or it'll be finished to the point where it's everything that I've shown you. Hopefully mine will be done, and the other 4. So after segment 12, because we'll have 9 and 10 will be doing the book cover and making some basic embellishments, and then 11 and 12 will be putting more embellishments within the book, adding things into the book itself. So that's the 4 segments. And then I'd like to do a 6 to 8 segment set of doing a smaller journal that will sit on top. Okay. With the idea that this journal will be decorated around the edge with different trims, knowing that I'm going to put a journal in the center. So I will do a soft cover journal tutorial that will be 6 to 8 weeks long. It'll only be 1 signature that goes inside, and it'll be about 8.5 by 11 approximately, because that will fit very nicely within the center of the book. So if you're planning to do that, then you have to decide, do you want to put fabric? Is it something that do you want to decorate? Do you want to make a second book that sits on top? That's up to you. But my whole plan is to have this fully decorated with another journaling possibility. Sort of like a traveler's notebook, but just an odd size. And so this is something that you could take off and write in, but put back. And then these would together nest with a hand-tied ribbon, not like maybe like a sari ribbon, where it's just a distressed raggy cotton or something to tie the 2 books together so that they sit together nicely, and also to finish it off as far as the decorations. So I hope this is starting to come together for you. Please tell me, please let me know in the description if I'm not giving you enough information on something, if you need more information on stuff, or what you would like to do in the future. Now, as far as fabric, I use everything. I use cotton, I use upholstery fabric, I use thicker fabric. It's whatever you like. Somebody asked me what glue I use, and they said the Tombow wasn't working for them. I think it was Tombow glue they were using. Yeah, I don't care for Tombow glue, period. It's too sticky. It does adhere, but if you make a mistake, it is so sticky, and it never seems to dry. For me, at least, it never seems to dry. So I don't use Tombow glue, but I do use a liquid glue. It's called Craft Medley glue. And it's just a clear, very inexpensive glue. I don't have a bottle handy, but I'll make sure I have a bottle of it because I put it in one of these things just because it has a finer nozzle. But I will make sure to have a bottle on hand for my next for when I'm doing the cover. But yeah, it's a very inexpensive glue that in Canada you can get at the local Dollarama. I think you can get it on Amazon. I'm pretty sure I've seen it on Amazon or in Walmart, on the Walmart website. So it's called Craft Medley, and it's just a clear glue. It's just like using your glitter glue, and other people use fabric tack. It's that type of glue for gluing the fabric and cover together. So yes, if you are struggling with anything, please do let me know in the comments below, or private message me if you would prefer to talk to me privately about it. And if you need other things, or you would like to see other things within this journal itself, then please let me know. The journals that I did at the beginning, where I cut the pages out, I will show you how to put all that together, or how I put it all together at the end, because it wasn't the main focus. It was just an option as far as doing this journal, where we've dissected and rebuilt the signature. But I will show you at the end, because both of my books were a little bit different than what I normally do for a book that I cut out the pages. So I will show you my finished results and explain more of that at the end. And for those of you that did do the book where you cut out the pages, you've kept your pages, and now you can just add the flips and the pockets and the ephemera and all that stuff back in, keeping in mind that you want to stay within the thickness of the book. And then as you see other things that I do in these books, you can certainly incorporate that into that style of book as well. But the pages that I cut out were a little bit different on those books, so I will show you separately after when we're done. After I do the 12 parts, I will have a flip out, hopefully, of my 5 books. It's a lot of pressure, but hopefully a flip out of my 5 books. It may happen after we do the second series, where it's the nesting journal, and then that's what I'm going to call it, is a nesting journal, because it will nest on top of this hardcover book. So the flip out of my books might happen at the end. I don't think I will get all 5 nesting journals done for those books, but you will be at least, you'll see one done, and it'll be the exact same thing for all 5. But the 2 books where I've done the cutting out of pages, I will do a flip out, or a flip out. I'm flipping out. I will do a flip through of those books and explain it as well. Blah. Okay, I think I've said enough for today. I hope this is enough information for you. Again, please leave me comments below, and we will continue to go on to part 9 and 10 next week, where we put the fabric cover on. And the reason we want to put the fabric cover on is so that we have leftover scraps that we can incorporate back into finishing our ephemera and decorating and embellishing our pages. There. So that's it for this week. I hope everything is going good. I wish you all a creative day and a creative week. And I look forward to hearing more about how your book is coming along. That's all you get for today. Bye for now.